do something to keep my head straight, you know what I'm saying?
Tupac was shot in real life when filming a scene where his character gets murdered, and that's not even the wildest thing that happened behind the scenes of Above the Rim. Picture this, the lead actor was literally replaced by a body double found in the crowd, the soundtrack became a weapon in hip-hop's deadliest rivalry, and the whole movie almost never happened because Allen Payne walked away from the starring role. Above the Rim hit the theaters in 1994 as the explosive finale to screenwriter Barry Michael Cooper's Harlem trilogy, following New Jack City and Sugar Hill. But the story behind the cameras was much more dangerous than anything on screen. Let me take you behind the scenes of a film where real life and death collided with cinema in ways that were both beautiful and tragic. Fact 1. Allen Payne turned down the lead role and it changed everything. So picture this, you're cast in the lead for your street basketball drama, and Allen Payne, hot off New Jack City, turns your offer down. Most producers would panic, but sometimes the best casting happens by accident. Enter Duane Martin, who wasn't just playing as a basketball player, he was one. Martin had played NCAA D3 basketball at NYU and was even signed on as an undrafted free agent by the Knicks in 1989. When director Jeff Pollack needed someone who could actually ball, Martin's real athletic background made every court scene feel authentic. Allen Payne's rejection turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Martin's natural athleticism and genuine basketball experience elevated every scene he appeared in. You can't fake the way he moved on the court, the confidence in his ball handling, or the authentic swagger he brought to Kyle's character. Fact 2. Real street legends were cast, but you'd never know it. The filmmakers didn't want actors who looked the part. They wanted the real thing. They cast Richard Pee Wee Kirkland, a genuine Rucker Park legend, as an uncredited college scout. Most viewers had no idea they were watching an actual streetball icon, but those in the know recognized the authenticity immediately. The production went even deeper with their commitment to realism. Other uncredited roles included Sima Birch as Birdie Girl and Babito Garcia as a player, both figures connected to the actual basketball and hip-hop scenes. This meticulous attention to detail created layers of authenticity that resonated with the target audience. This wasn't Hollywood trying to fake street cred. This was the street validating Hollywood. Fact 3. Tupacs Legal Troubles Nearly derailed production. Okay, so here's where the things take a bit of a dark turn. Tupac Shakur's portrayal of Birdie wasn't just acting, it was survival therapy. While filming, Pac was dealing with serious legal troubles, including jail time that forced production delays. Director Jeff Pollack had to work around his lead actor's incarceration schedule, but Tupac was feeling the pressure. In interviews, you could see the weight of his circumstances. He was frustrated, angry, and channeling that emotion directly into his performance. His song Pain, written immediately after getting out of jail, captured not just the lyrics, but the actual trauma he was going through. "I wrote that right after I got out," Tupac revealed in a rare interview. "All that stress, all that legal stuff, I put it into music." The irony? This deeply personal track almost didn't make it into the film at all. Fact 4. Tupac was shot during filming and they used a body double. But the most shocking behind-the-scenes fact, during filming, Tupac got shot in real life, his first shooting. The production had to use a body double for the climactic scene where Birdie dies. Actor Wood Harris later revealed they found a lookalike in the crowd who matched Tupac's height and build perfectly. The tragic irony is bone-chilling. An actor getting shot in real life while his character also faces a fatal shooting. Art imitating life in the most haunting way possible. Fact 5. Jeff Pollack's directorial debut set a new standard. Above the Rim was Jeff Pollack's directorial debut, and he was facing every challenge imaginable. An incarcerated lead actor, tight budgets, and the pressure to authentically represent Harlem street culture. But Pollack and cinematographer Tom Priestley created something special. Their basketball cinematography was so innovative that screenwriter Barry Michael Cooper said it set the tone for every other basketball flick that would follow. They weren't just filming games, they were choreographing visual poetry. The production filmed extensively on location at Harlem schools like the Manhattan Center for Science and Mathematics and Samuel J. Tilden High School. This commitment to authentic locations meant dealing with unpredictable street conditions, noise issues, and the constant challenge of maintaining production quality in uncontrolled environments. Hey, if you like these behind-the-scenes revelations, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which facts surprised you the most. Facts 6 to 8. Death Row weaponized the soundtrack. Here's where things get really wild. Despite being set in Harlem, the Above the Rim soundtrack was controlled by Death Row Records, Suge Knight's West Coast empire. And this was an accident. It was a calculated declaration of war. The soundtrack featured almost exclusively West Coast artists, with Wu-Tang Clan being one of the few East Coast exceptions. Industry insiders saw it as a subliminal warning shot in the escalating East-West hip-hop rivalry. Death Row was basically saying, we can dominate your own backyard. But their biggest weapon was hiding in plain sight. Regulate by Warren G and Nate Dogg debuted on this soundtrack months before Warren G's album dropped. Here's the twist. Dr. Dre wasn't originally fond of the track. It was Jimmy Levine who pushed for its inclusion, and that decision changed everything. Regulate hit number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and essentially launched Warren G's career. The song's iconic sample from Mike McDonald's I Keep Forgetting and the spoken intro from the 1988 film Young Guns created an instant classic. Meanwhile, Tupac's deeply personal track Pain was initially rejected by Dre and cut from the CD version due to time constraints. It only made it onto the cassette version. The irony was brutal. The most authentic song almost got buried. The soundtrack sold over 2 million copies and won Soundtrack of the Year at the 1995 Source Awards. Death Row successfully conquered East Coast without firing a shot, just dropping beats. It was a power move that escalated the Coast rivalry to dangerous new levels. Fact 9. A Star Trek sample sets the film's dark tone. Let me blow your mind with a detail you probably missed. Remember Shep's opening nightmare, the haunting voiceover saying, "I couldn't help but notice your pain"? That's sampled directly from Star Trek V: The Final Frontier. This wasn't random. It perfectly sets up the film's themes of trauma and inner turmoil. The intertextual choice adds layers of meaning that most viewers never caught, connecting the personal suffering of the protagonists to the universal human experiences of pain. Fact 10. Bunks references real streetball culture. The movie also contains subtle nods to real street culture that only insiders would catch. When Kyle mentions wanting to subject someone to bunks after a game, that's referencing a real streetball punishment where losers get basketballs thrown at their backsides. It's these hyper-specific cultural details that make the film feel authentic to its target audience. Fact 11. Those rooftop courts actually exist. Even the film's setting wasn't pure Hollywood invention. Those rooftop basketball courts that seem fantastical, they actually exist in dense urban areas like New York and DC. The filmmakers drew from real locations to ground their story in reality. Fact 12. The flaws that made it real. Like many films shot on tight schedules in real locations, Above the Rim contains continuity errors that sharp-eyed viewers love to spot. Shep's jersey appears backwards during his finger roll, and Birdie's bandana mysteriously changes positions in the final game. But here's the thing. These weren't mistakes that hurt the film. They were imperfections that made it more authentic. In a movie about street culture, having that perfect Hollywood polish would have felt wrong. These flaws became proof that real people made this movie under real pressure, just like the characters they were portraying. The raw, unpolished edges matched the story's gritty authenticity perfectly. The cultural impact that lasted decades. Above the Rim wasn't just entertainment. It was the conclusion of screenwriter Barry Michael Cooper's Harlem trilogy following Sugar Hill and New Jack City. It established narratives that influenced everything from He Got Game to Coach Carter. The film's fashion impact was equally significant. Tupac's Birdie character, sporting full camo fatigues with boots and a bandana, helped popularize the oversized looks and draping techniques that defined 90s hip-hop style. His Karl Kani ambassador status in the film's visual aesthetic accelerated mainstream adoption of streetwear. But beyond style and entertainment, Above the Rim delivered a timeless message about choices. Kyle's decision between Georgetown education and street money reflected real struggles facing urban youth. Like Hoop Dreams, the film acknowledged that NBA stardom is an elusive dream and education remains the real reason to go to school. The final buzzer. Above the Rim transcended its basketball movie origins to become a cultural document of 90s urban America. From Tupac's real-life struggles bleeding into his performance to Death Row's strategic soundtrack dominance to the authentic casting of actual streetball legends, every element contributed to its enduring cult status. This wasn't just a movie about basketball. It was about choices, authenticity, and the price of dreams in environments where opportunities are scarce and temptations are everywhere. The next time you see Above the Rim, remember that you're not just seeing a story. You're witnessing a moment when real life and cinema collided in ways that were both beautiful and tragic. And you're seeing the powerful conclusion of one of hip-hop cinema's most important trilogies. Hit that subscribe button for Primetime Throwback, where we don't just re-watch classics, we uncover the stories Hollywood tried to hide. And drop a comment telling me which of these 12 facts hit you the hardest.